He lifted his glass higher than he ever had for me, lips curling into a grin I once mistook for charm. 6 years, he announced. 6 years of freedom ahead. Single. Searching. The restaurant fell silent. His mother raised her glass to match his. His father wore a smirk like he'd been waiting for this. Then, across the table, he slid a folded T-shirt toward me. Not a thoughtful gift. More like a cruel prank a frat boy would play. Bold letters stretched across the cotton. 6 years of disappointment. I looked at the shirt, then at him, then at the smug faces surrounding me. My fingers twitched, not in shock but in restraint. They had no idea. No one at that table knew I had been preparing for this moment. Backstory. I remember the first time I saw him. He carried himself with a confidence that drew people in, magnetic and certain, like he could shrink the world with a glance. I was younger then, desperate for something steady, craving the kind of promises he whispered in the dark. A ring slipped onto my hand beneath the stars, and I believed. For 6 years, I gave it everything. I learned his favorite meals, forced laughter at recycled jokes, made excuses when he disappeared. I told myself, this is what marriage is. This is love. But love doesn't reek of perfume that isn't yours. Love doesn't leave lipstick marks on receipts stuffed in the glove box. Discovery. The betrayals came quietly at first. His phone always tilted away, screens dimmed when I walked into the room, cologne clinging to him that he never wore for me. Then came the proof no excuse could erase. A hotel reservation sent to our shared email. Her name filled the guest field, bold and unmistakable. I read it twice, first as his wife, then as his executioner. I didn't scream. I didn't confront. I deleted nothing. I gathered everything, screenshots, receipts, lies. He thought I was blind. I was building a file thick enough to crush him. Shift in mindset. Grief slipped away, replaced with strategy. I studied his patterns. Thursdays with the guys, mint nights with her. Business trips charged to our joint account. Once, he even borrowed my car. I planted a tracker. His arrogance became my greatest weapon. Quietly, I hired a lawyer. Slowly, I moved money into a separate account, just enough at a time to go unnoticed, yet enough to leave him stripped bare when it mattered. I wasn't just planning to leave him. I was preparing to ruin him. Execution. The trap came first. The house, the accounts, even the car he drove to her, all signed over to me in paperwork he never bothered to read. My lawyer had seen to it. Then came the stage. Tonight, our anniversary. A dinner with his parents, the only people whose approval meant more to him than mine. I wore red. Not for him. For the ending. Confrontation. He raised his glass, declared his freedom, and handed me that cotton insult. His mother laughed. His father smirked. They thought I'd fold. Instead, I stood. My breath steady, my pulse even. I tapped my glass with a fork until the restaurant stilled. All eyes turned to me. 6 years, I said, voice unshaken. 6 years of lies, of infidelity, of stupidity I endured in silence. Tonight, that silence ends. His grin faltered. I pulled a thick folder from my purse and dropped it onto the table with a sound that cut through the room. Inside, every receipt, every message, every hotel record, evidence of affairs, not just one. His mother froze, glass hovering. His father's smirk shattered. I leaned closer. As of this morning, the house is mine. The accounts are mine. The car you drove her in, mine. You have nothing. Gasps rippled across the restaurant. Strangers leaned in, hanging on every word. And as for your mistress, I continued, she's married. To your boss. He'll be receiving his own copy of this folder tonight. The blood drained from his face. For once, he had no toast, no clever line, no mask. Just ruin. Resolution. I didn't wait for his response. I didn't need one. I turned to the hushed restaurant, lifted my glass, and said, to freedom, mine. Applause burst out. Strangers clapped. Some even stood. His parents sat frozen, watching their golden sun collapse into dust. I walked out, heels sharp against the tile, every step releasing the weight I'd carried for years. Outside, the night air was cool against my skin. My chest felt lighter than it had in years. I was no longer his wife, no longer his victim. I was the storm he never saw coming. And finally, I had one.